Yo, what's up everybody? I am Michael Weir. I am a doctor of chiropractic. Welcome to my channel. It's great to have you here. In today's video, I want to talk to you about the most important thing that you can be doing for your neck pain. All right, so check this out. Neck pain is super common. If you're watching this, you probably already know that. You're looking for this content. It's something that's part of your daily life. But did you know that upwards of 30% of the US population deals with neck pain on a monthly basis? And then 50% of that group will have chronic ongoing problems, maybe for the rest of their lives. This is a big deal. It's a really big deal. And it's plaguing our population. Then, welcome to 2020. Where we now work from home, we now do school from home, we now sit at the computers more than we ever have, we are on our devices more than we ever have because, well, what else are we going to do, right? So we have all these problems and what they all have in common and what's causing this epidemic of neck pain and neck issues and headaches and the sort is that they all share in common that we're looking down. We're looking down at our devices, we're looking down at the computer, we're looking down more than we ever have, really in the history of mankind. And really, I don't use that word lightly, the word epidemic, because it's a big deal. But this truly is an epidemic, and I'm seeing it in my practice. I'm seeing more neck pain, more headache patients than I've ever seen, and I've been in practice now for almost 20 years. This is a really big deal. So, what causes neck pain? Well, it can come from a lot of different places, but what I've found is that the vast majority of neck pain comes from poor postural patterns. Say that 10 times fast. Poor postural patterns. There it is. But again, back to the devices, back to my kids play Switch, and I'm constantly saying, you gotta get your head up, gotta get your head up. We're all looking down more than we have. And what happens is our bodies get into and stuck into what we call forward head carriage. And what that is that it's when the head drifts forward over the shoulders. Check this out. So what we want to see is the ear, the shoulder, and the hip all line up in a perfectly straight line. That's normal posture. It's a cervical curve, which we call a lordosis. It's a thoracic curve, which we call a kyphosis. Everything is lined up. Those curves act as shock absorbers to the spine. They protect the spine. But when we sit in these poor postures and we're typing, everything is shrugged up and stress is out of control, we start to get into forward head carriage, rounded shoulders, and kyphosis. And then we end up in this very kinked off posture. This is extremely stressful on the joints, the discs, the ligaments, the tendons, the nerves, the soft tissues, the muscles. These are poor postures that create a ton of pain. So from good tall posture to rounded posture, it takes its toll, and it takes its toll hard on the human body. So what happens is we are in these poor postural patterns and we get stuck there. And the head drifts out in front of the shoulders and it gets stuck in that position. And it hyperloads the joints, the muscles. The muscles have to work harder than they should have to work. There's some research that shows us that people with a loss of their cervical curve, where their head is out in front of their shoulders, we call this tech neck, are 18 times more likely to have neck pain than those who have a cervical curve and who have good posture. Why else is this a big deal? Well, there was another study that was done that showed that elderly men and women who have a hyperkyphosis, and what that is just when everything's rounded forward. We've all seen those people, right? They have a higher likelihood of developing osteoporosis. Then there was another study in that same group of elderly people that found out that if they had poor postural patterns and these hyperkyphosis, they had a higher mortality rate, meaning they were dying sooner than their cohorts who had good postural patterns. It's a big deal. And then there's this study, which I want to read it to you because this is a really big deal. In this study, it says this: posture affects and moderates every physiologic function from breathing to hormonal production, spine pain, headache, mood, blood pressure, pulse, and lung capacity are all among the functions most easily influenced by posture. Mind blown. It's a really, really big deal. Poor posture, head carriage forward, it restricts the lungs so we can't take as deep of breaths. In doing so, it reduces the space for the heart to exist in, so it affects blood pressure and heart rate and all these different things. Everything has a root back, and it has a big deal when it comes to posture.
All right, so what do we do about it, right? That's the ultimate question. That's why you're here. And the number one thing that you can be using for your neck pain, your mid-back pain, shoulder pain, these have consequences even for the lower back, is the use of a yoga block. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. This is from a company called Gaiam. You can find them on Amazon, actually fairly cheap. I'm going to show you a lot of variations that you can use actually with just stuff around the house, but I highly suggest grabbing one of these. It's just simply called a yoga block if you type it into Amazon. And what this does is it gives us a beautiful tool to help bring the body back up into its neutral posture and interrupt the patterns that we get into when we're sitting at the computer or on our device or we're playing a game or whatever it might be. For that matter, actually, even reading a book for too long has consequences. Even cooking a meal for a long period of time has consequences. This is a beautiful tool to interrupt that process. So I'm going to show you how to use it, and then a couple of variations that we'll use in case you don't want to buy one of these, or maybe this is too much for you. So let's get right into it.
Welcome back. All right, so I want to show you how to use this thing. So here it is, simple yoga block. Pretty simplistic with this. You can use it on the floor, you can use it on your bed, really doesn't matter. But what you're going to do is you're going to lay it down vertically. So this is going to be pointing up towards your head. And then simply, you're going to lay up over the top of the block. Now, what that does is it hinges the head back, pulls the shoulders back, and reorients your postural positioning in a really dynamic way. And what you want to do is you want to hold that for about 30 seconds. So let me show you real quick. You want the top of the block to be right about the shoulders so that your head can arc back. And you do that for about 30 seconds. Now, ideally you want your butt to be on the ground. Knees can be bent, whatever they're most comfortable with. That's not really an issue. We want comfort there, but it's just about bringing the shoulders and the neck back into normal orientation. Give that a try. I'd love to know what you think. Now, I also want to show you some variations because there's going to be some of you who this is just too much for. That's way too much pressure. You can't get the head back. If you have any dizziness, if you have any numbness or tingling in the fingers, don't use the block. I'm going to show you another way to get that done. All right, so if you think that's going to be maybe just a little bit too much and a little bit too hard on the body, what we want to do is we want to use a towel. Normal bath towel works brilliantly. And real simple, what we want to do is we want to roll it up into, a 6-inch diameter, like so. Or thereabouts. Now, what that does is it gives us more of a soft position. Think of this like the block, but it gives a little bit. So it's the same thing. You put that between the shoulder blades, but it's not quite as intense. Same deal, you want the top of the towel to be right about the shoulders so your head can arc back over the top. Shoot for about 30 seconds on top of this. This works wonders. Now my hope is that if you can do this every single day, maybe multiple times a day, that takes all the stress and pressure off of your neck, off of your back, and allows your body to reorient in a really nice way so you feel a ton better. Give that a try. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you're enjoying this content, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. We'll talk to you next time.